Sonic filmed the Retunity of the Sonic Underground Chapter 8. Enter Kaze and Darren the Hedgehogs. They followed voices and led them to a group of badniks surrounding two unfamiliar hedgehogs. The two of them looked exactly like Sonic, Shadow, and Silver combined. The first hedgehog was blue like Sonic, but had red stripes like Shadow's. His top quill matched to Sonic's, his second quills curved upwards like Shadow's, and his bottom quills are like Silver's. His chest fur and inhibitor rings matches to Shadow's. The only thing that's different from the hedgehog was his attire. He wore a brown jacket which is half opened, making his chest fur visible. His boots had a silvery colored metal cuffs and heels, and each had a blue-green gem in the center. The base of the boots were brown and orange, but the toes of the boots were somehow oddly looked exactly like Sonic's sneakers, but the buckles were shaped like boomerangs. He had a tan-colored muzzle like Shadow's, and he had two differently colored eyes. His left eye is yellow like Silver's, while his right eye is red like Shadow's. The other hedgehog looks almost definitely like Shadow, except that his quills looked almost like Black Doom in starfish form. It was black like Shadow's and a red stripe from the tip of his top quill running down to his forehead. It seems to split apart, and a yellow third eye rests on his forehead. The tips of his other quills had a fire red pattern. His chest fur looked identically alike to Shadow's. He wears a dark brown colored robes, the sleeves folded up to look like cuffs, and had a yellow lining in the edges. He wears a pair of white gloves. He wears a belt made on light steel and a gray brooch shaped like a star. It has a red gem on the center. His shoes are quite made of thick cloth, yellow metal, and he has a tan-colored muzzle like Shadow's, and his eyes are red too. Tails, Amy, Styx, Shadow, and Silver have no idea who they are, but Sonic and Knuckles did know them. They were King Kaze and Lord Darren, the neighboring kingdom of Mobotropolis, and brothers to King Jules and Charles the Hedgehogs. Sonic and Knuckles met them once in a royal ball to celebrate the reunion of the Council of Four and the end of Robotnik's tyranny. Kaze and Sonic used to race each other and always tied in the end, while Darren used to tell Sonic, Sonia, and Manic stories about their father. Kaze looked at Darren, gestured his hand towards him, telling him to grab his hand. Darren grabbed his hand and Kaze spread out his snow-white wings and soared high in the air, causing the badniks to collide with each other and explode. Everyone except Sonic and Knuckles were in awe of what they just witnessed. Then Darren began to use the vines to pick up the remains of the badniks, throwing them away.
Guys, did you see what I just see?
Yes, Tails, I did.
Those were aliens disguised as Sonic, Shadow, and Silver's uncles.
Well, I don't think you're right, Styx. Hey, where did Sonic go?
Shadow looked right where Sonic was earlier, and all he sees is a cloud of dust shaped like the blue blur. Sonic is running towards his uncles.
Dog trial!
Before they could react, Kaze and Darwin were tackled by their own nephew. At first they thought they were being attacked by another badnik, but when they heard a familiar laughter, they raised their gazes to see Sonic on top of them, laughing hysterically. Then they smiled and laughed along with him. Everyone except Knuckles were surprised that the two hedgehogs didn't hurt Sonic. Knuckles eventually went towards them. Kaze grabs Sonic and gives him a noogie.
You big rascal, why would you pull off a dirty trick like that?
Come on, Uncle Kaze. Stop it.
Well, it's great to see you again, Sonic.
I'm glad to see you too, Uncle Darren. You too, Uncle Kaze.
It's good to see you again, your highnesses.
Knuckles, it's definitely a pleasure to see you. And please, just call us by our real names. No, we only allow our friends and families to call us by our real names.
I completely understand, Darren.
Oh, right. Guys, there's nothing to worry about. They're my uncles, or should I say, our uncles.
They eventually came out of their hiding places, introduced each other, and Shadow and Silver were hugged by their uncles. Kaze and Darwin told them they were with Sonia and Manic, but they had to split up because Eggman is chasing them. Tails eventually told his new uncles about Sonia and Manic, cornered by Eggman, and about Metal Sonic, and told his plan on how to save them. Kaze and Darwin were quite surprised about Tails' intelligence. He kind of reminded them of Trails, their top inventor. Then they take off to find Sonia and Manic. Along the way, Darren tells them stories about jewels. They were completely amazed, and sometimes they would compare them to Sonic, Shadow, and Silver. They tells Kaze and Darwin about his adventures with his friends. They were surprised about the part that Sonic, Shadow, and Silver used to be rivals in the past, and the part that Sonic died and had been resurrected by the Chaos Emeralds. But they were glad that Sonic hadn't changed. He's still the kind and heroic hedgehog from the past. The only thing that changed is his lone wolf personality. That's right, he used to be a lone wolf in the past. He usually depends on his speed and strength alone instead of asking for help from others. And now, he is depending on his friends, and they will always work together to thwart and vanquish the plans of evil beings with black hearts. But when they say that to them...
Yeah, but you know what?
What is it, Sonic?
Not all villains are that bad.
What makes you say that, Sonic?
Because some of them have their reasons. Like, because someone took away their one and only friend, or tricked them into killing someone in order to save the future, or because they were afraid that the world wouldn't last and be gone forever, or take back their only love, so on and so forth. But I gave them another chance to start over again, and give them some advice to make them see that there is always a way to make things right. Well, except for Eggman, Black Doom, the Deadly Six, etc. But even so, I'm always ready to forgive and forget, even if they did intend to hurt or kill me from the start.
Kaze and Darren were definitely proud of Sonic, and they said to him that he'd beget son like his father. They told him that they will always respect the choices he made. Sonic smiled and began to ram backwards to face them. Kaze and Darren did the same. They all laughed, seeing Shadow and Silver gawking at them as they kept on the search for Sonia and Manic.